Hello guys, this is Carlos from Edcatech. I'm here today to basically get you started with how to gradually become basic web developer. When we talk of somebody being a web developer, it simply means that that person develops applications, develop programs on the web, okay, on the internet. So if you're a pro web developer, probably this is not a place for you to look in. I seek to address and help people who don't know anything about how to develop a website. But if you have the interest, probably this is where you are to get started with how to begin developing your own website. You might not have any idea on how to program, how to code, but then with these tutorials that you are going to get started with, when you follow them, you are going to become a beginner in web development before you look elsewhere for your advanced practices. So to begin everything, we need a server on which we are going to develop our website. So our server of interest will be a Wamp server. Wamp server, it's a web developing platform that can allow you develop systems using PHP, MySQL, Apache. You can run your JavaScript and all that. So we are going to get started as to how to download and install a Wamp server down onto your computer. So let's get started with that. You can move to your web browser with a fully working internet, okay, and you quickly dash to google.com, okay, www.google.com, and you look for your information. So the information of interest here is Wamp server. So you can just begin to type Wamp server. Okay, so we have some options that Google has brought us to. So probably let's select this Wamp server from www.wampserver.com. Okay, so when you come in here, you have your Wamp server applications, being it 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, so you decide to download whichever you want from the platform over here. You can equally read a little bit about the Wamp server before you begin to download it. So I have already downloaded my own Wamp server, so I'm just going straight to where I have downloaded it to. Okay, so this is my Wamp server. I've downloaded into this directory. I have the 32 bits and I have the 64 bits, and this Wamp server is the version 2.5, Apache version 2.49, MySQL version 5.617, and PHP 5.512. okay, and this is the 32 bit and the 64 bits. So that depends on the specifications of your machine. Then you should install any that suits your machine. To detect if your machine is 32 or 64 bits, basically just right click on my computer anywhere around and go to properties. Okay, so in the properties you see your system type. So your system type is 64 bits. So in this case, and 64 base processor. In this case, we are going to install the 64 bits of this particular application here, of the Wamp server application. Okay, so I'm going to get beginning with the installation. It's as simple as double clicking on the application, and the window that comes, you just accept it, and this is the screen that comes later. Okay, the only thing you do over here is to click on next. You accept all the agreements, you go to next, and the system asks you if you really want to install a Wamp server on this C directory. Okay, so by default it should be installed on the C directory. So we are going to next. I already have a folder existing in my C directory, so I'm just going to continue to do the installation on top of that. But then for a fresh start, you might not have this in your C directory. Okay, so let's cross check if I really have that in my C directory. So I'm going to my local DC, and this is my Wamp server. Okay, I have already created a folder that takes care of certain things over here, but then you might not have this file created. So if you don't have that, you just continue with your installation. If you like to create a shortcut on the launch, or you want to create a shortcut on the desktop, I'm not interested in any of those two, okay, because I know where to run my Wamp server from. But for a beginner, of course, you need to actually select this place and select probably this side, so that you can easily locate your Wamp server on the desktop or on any quick launch access. So I'm going to disable this, okay, and I want to continue with my installation in the drive C location. So let's go to install. Let's wait for the system to quickly do its own extractions. Okay, in the course of your installation, you're going to be asked to choose a default browser on which you want your system to run on, okay, on which you want your server platform to run on. And in this case, I would like the system to run on on an Opera, okay, on an Opera, and my Opera, it's installed in the local DC program files and then Opera, okay. So I quickly want to use the Opera launcher for the system. So it's asking you, would you like to install the new Wamp server 2, blah blah blah. So you go on, because I already have my own in existence, okay. So quickly the system is finalizing things and it's finishing the installation for us. Okay, after some few time, realize the system asks you to probably allocate your SMTP, okay. So the SMTP, it's where your message transfer protocol is going to be directed to, okay, using your email. So assuming probably alongside in the development you like to send email to people, then you actually need an SMTP to hook up to before you can easily send an email to those email addresses and all that, okay. So your email, I just want to leave all these things like this, okay, by default, and if the necessity arises, you might probably change it in the system alongside with what you want to do. So I want to opt for next, and I want to finish the installation. So immediately you finish the installation, it asks you to launch the Wamp server application, and to know if your Wamp server application is up, online, running, see this red icon over here should turn from orange to green, okay. So this is orange now, and we expect it to go on green very soon. That tells us that our Wamp server, it's fully running, and you can see this on a local host network, okay. So to test our Wamp server, we know it's fully running now, but then we still have to test it. So to test that, you click on it, okay, and you go to phpMyAdmin, or you go to localhost to see if the system is really running on a localhost. As you can see, the system is fully running on a localhost. So this is our server environment, okay, our Wamp server environment. Alright, I have some few projects with myself over here already, okay, and then let's now go to where the database hangs, okay. So the database will probably be hiding in phpMyAdmin, okay. That is where my SQL database will be hanging, okay. So for any transactions that you might like to do, this is where you come and determine the kind of database you use for your systems, okay. Like I said earlier on, I have some few databases in my system already. You might not actually have all this list in your system, okay. You might probably have things like, let me show you things that you might probably have, okay. So let's go to database, and I want to select all these guys over here. Good. So these things I've selected over here, okay, are my own definitions of the databases. But then what you might see by default in your database is this my SQL performance schema and information schema. The reason why this hasn't been selected is that probably you might like to drop the databases over here, okay. So these are from the system and they cannot be dropped, they cannot easily be dropped. That reminds me, test should also be in the system. You should also see test database in your system, okay. So finally, this is how we install our Wamp server, and it's fully up running. And in the next tutorials, we are going to learn how to begin our website or our platform development. Thanks for watching. Follow up for the channels, and we shall begin learning amazing things. One thing is that in these sections, you're not going to be more technical with certain things as a pro web developer might be saying it. So I assume you are actually getting started with how to get beginning with web development. So I might not use certain things that you feel so confused on. So we are just going to go gradually and get you to the highest level, or probably get you to where you are supposed to continue learning on your own anytime you want to go the advanced way. So basically, this is how we deal with the installation of the platform. Bye bye.